I got Nahida on January 30th, 2024. I am recording this on September 6th, 2025. My Nahida has been neglected for almost 2 years at this point, so I think it is time to finally build her before she gets power crept by a deer. I honestly don't know why it took me so long to build Nahida, because Hyper Bloom is actually my favorite elemental reaction in Genshin Impact. It is the reaction that got me through the No-Wish challenge. It is the reaction that I have continued to use despite it slowly feeling worse as time goes on. You see, along with Natlan's release also came more powerful characters. And because of these new, stronger characters, new standards were introduced. And these changes are reflected in the new endgame content. The Spiral Abyss has been getting progressively more difficult over time, but version 5 of Genshin Impact really ramped up the difficulty, and they did it very quickly. So now I started wondering, is it even worth it to build Nahida in the year 2025? Of course it is. Look at this adorable little cabbage. What's up? My name is Taiyuji, and today we are going to finally be building Nahida. And I'm not gonna lie, I was bullied into doing this. Everybody in my comment section was like, what, you pulled Nahida and you haven't built her? You need to build the cabbage. So I'm just like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll finally build a limited 5-star character that I pulled for in the first place. I just didn't realize that you were actually supposed to build the limited 5-star characters that you pulled for. Now, the reason that I have Nahida was because there was a time way back in the day where Shan Yun was on banner and then Nahida was also having a rerun on the same banner. And I really wanted Shan Yun, so then my friend Tula pulled me Shan Yun in like 30 pulls. It was crazy. There was pandemonium in the streets. I was on a 50-50 and I had like 10 pity. And then afterwards, he's like, well, you also need the Dendro Archon. Like, I mean, you got all of these extra pulls. I got Shan Yun in 30 pulls. You need the cabbage. So I was like, okay, fine. You can do a 10 pull for Nahida, but I do need to save my wishes for future characters. So she does a single 10 pull. Again, 0 pity now. Still on a 50-50. Single 10 pull gets me Nahida. So now I'm sitting here wondering if Tula is an actual wizard. So basically, that is the reason why I still have not built Nahida, is because I wasn't planning on pulling for her at that point. So I had a lot of characters that I was trying to build first. But today that changes because my YouTube community has now bullied me into building Nahida. So today we are going to be taking her up to level 90. We are finally going to invest in her talents. 131 looks pretty cringe. Okay, so I do have her boss materials, but that is not enough lotus flowers, I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah. Everybody hold hands. There it is. We finally have leveled up Nahida to level 90. I think that I've had her for like a year at this point now. And I'm glad to finally take her up to level 90 right before Lauma comes out. Now, I don't look at leaks or anything, but I have heard that Lauma is going to be pretty strong. So, you know, great time to build Nahida. Let's build Nahida before she gets power creeped potentially. Okay, now for Nahida, taking her up to level 90 is pretty important. And then for her weapons, mainly what we're doing is we're trying to throw a lot of elemental mastery on Nahida. So if you don't have her signature weapon like me, I don't have her signature weapon, you can just use sacrificial fragments and it is a pretty good replacement. And also if you have a newer account, like if you're newer to Genshin Impact, you could just use Magic Guide on Nahida as well. This is also a pretty good option. So for me personally, I'm just going to be using sacrificial fragments because I don't have her signature weapon, unfortunately. And then for artifacts, Deepwood Memories is one of her best sets. If you already have somebody else holding Deepwood Memories, you could throw her on Golden Troop if you just wanted to up her personal damage. But for me, I'm going to be running a 4-piece Deepwood Memories. Holy crap. So we get 1,055 elemental mastery on Nahida. And then now time to take her talent levels up. What do I have right now? 136 of these books. I don't know when I farmed these, but good job past Taiyuji on farming these books. Dang, I think that I'm going to need some more of these. Okay, let's see how far I can take up her talent levels until I need to farm more of these mushrooms. Okay, so we did not get very far. All right, hold up. Let's do some quick mushroom farming. Level 9 elemental skill. Okay, level 90 Nahida, 1,005 elemental mastery, R5 sacrificial fragments, 4-piece Deepwood Memories, all elemental mastery, like every elemental mastery, C0, talents 195. I would take this up to level 6, but I only have 2. I can't craft any. I only got I only got 2 of these left. And this is a great low investment build that you can do. You can just slap as much elemental mastery as you can on Nahida, and she will do a decent amount of damage. Look, I'm only using 3 characters in this clip, and she is doing fine. I actually recommend doing this if you are newer to Genshin Impact and you don't have that many high quality artifacts yet, because this way you don't really have to worry about substats on your artifacts. But this is a Nahida video, so what if we wanted our little vegetable to do more damage? What if instead we decided to throw R5 Widsith onto Nahida? What would happen then? And what if instead on our artifacts we did elemental mastery, crit rate? Wait a second, what are we doing here? So I started trying to get some better artifacts so I could build the DPS Nahida, and you know, they didn't roll well. They didn't roll that well. But what I currently have is 648 elemental mastery, 49 crit rate, over 176 crit damage, which the crit rate is slightly better than you think it is, right? Because of the 648 elemental mastery, we do get like a bonus 13% crit rate or something like that. But first things first, let's go ahead and farm a little bit for Nahida. Let's see if we can get any better artifacts. And boom, this is the combo. All right, we'll go ahead and use our transient resin first, because the transient resin is going to guarantee us a good artifact. Surely, it's transient. So not a single deepwood piece. Interesting. You know, I haven't farmed for artifacts in a while, and you know, I really miss this feeling of feeling like I'm just throwing away all of my resin. It feels very good. Feels very good. Okay, I know I don't have that many artifacts, but hear me out. What if we just rolled some crazy pieces for Nahida right here, right now? Emerge. Attack percent, not what we need. Pyro damage bonus. Give me like the feather and the flowers should be easy. Like, I don't get it. Okay, let's try one more time. And then I think we're close to like that's all the artifacts that we have. Spoiler alert. I didn't get anything, but just because my Nahida build is cheeks doesn't mean that the idea isn't sound. Trust me, DPS Nahida is a real thing. So we're at like 67% crit rate on our elemental, on our like Trikarma purifications, right? And we are at level 6 on our elemental burst. Wow, look at us go. So now let's go ahead and test out what DPS Nahida can do, or at least like my DPS Nahida. It's not my DPS Nahida is kind of not that great, but you know, it's because Hoyoverse hates me. It's because they never want to give me any good artifacts, okay? I swear they have specifically coded my game differently so that I never get good artifacts. All right, we are going to try out this Quicken team real quick. I don't think it's that great. It's all 4-star characters except Nahida. I'm just wondering if with DPS Nahida, can we one phase this guy? Let's see. I should have probably used this first. Okay, so the answer is we can. We can one phase Simon. But now I want to try out a Hyper Bloom team. And hear me out. Now, Hyper Bloom isn't as good as it used to be. I've always thought that Hyper Bloom is a really good elemental reaction, and it's also very good if you are just now starting a Genshin Impact account, because I think that it is a very good team for just clearing the game's like main story, just clearing easy content like that. You don't really start seeing how Hyper Bloom has fallen off until you start tackling stuff like Spiral Abyss, Stygian Onslaught. Then you start seeing how Hyper Bloom isn't as good as it used to be. But I feel like that's also because Hyper Bloom was never meant to be the main source of damage. I think what it was designed for was to be supplemental damage, like basically extra damage on top of what your main DPS was doing. So characters like Alhaitham, you're supposed to be doing your main source of damage with them, like that's supposed to be a majority of your damage, but then you're also doing Hyper Bloom damage on top of that. So what if we just used a team like this? Everybody else is just doing off-field damage, you're doing some Hyper Bloom damage, but then Nahida herself is the main DPS. Nahida becomes the Alhaitham in our analogy. The question is this actually any good? Let's find out. I mean, it's Hyper Bloom. It'll be decent at least, I feel like. All right, and then here. Okay, yeah, that is pretty solid, not gonna lie. I didn't even have to fischl twice there. I don't know, I like this team better though. I feel like because you get to on-field Nahida, And Nahida has really cool normal attack animations that you don't normally get to see. So I don't think this team is necessarily better, but you get to do this, which is nice, because I usually just like I'm playing Nahida off field for the most part. Boom! I kind of want to try this though. Like, I want to know how hard has Hyper Bloom fallen off. If it's even fallen off at all. Maybe it's still pretty good. You know? Initial testings doesn't feel too bad. Okay, that crocodile definitely slipped past me. But actually, we're just doing so much damage that it does not matter. Holy crap, we're just kind of going in right now. Oh wait, we need to make sure to be hitting her. Boom, there it is. So yeah, it's not insane, but we beat it in less than 1 minute and 30 seconds, which, you know, the cutoff for Spiral Abyss is 1 minute and 30 seconds each side. So yes, I definitely see that other newer characters can do more damage, but I feel like Hyper Bloom is still perfectly usable. I feel like it's still a pretty good elemental reaction. All right, we should be fine on this chamber as long as they don't instantaneously back up like he just did right there. Wow, look at that. Instantly doing the thing that I don't want them to do. Good job. I feel like that is good enemy design, right? Like them instantly not wanting to fight you, like instantly running away. Good enemy design, man. So I wanted to save Farina Burst, which was probably a mistake. Yeah, like ended up, man, dang. Okay. Man, the chamber is hard because I feel like it's kind of RNG reliant, like where hopefully that robot doesn't run away at the beginning, because that ends up just eating your time. I feel like I can definitely clear that in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Obviously, it's not the best though, but I'm just saying, Hyper Bloom, still usable, okay? We're still going to 36 star the Abyss, obviously. See, obviously. And then this chamber will probably be a little bit better actually, because Hyper Bloom only damages one target. Like the seed can only go to one character at a time, right? So now that we're on a boss enemy, this is more of what Hyper Bloom was made for. Wait, actually, let me reset that. I'm tripping. I don't know why I'm even aggravating or Bloom. I need to only Electro Charge there. So now this time we're only going to do Electro Charge reactions at the beginning so we can just break this shield. And then we'll go into here. I don't know why I reset that. I think I had a while still until the Shrine of Maya like went away. But it is fine. We are doing way more damage to this guy than to the other enemies, right? Because now we are in a single target scenario. As I said, right? Hyper Bloom was more made for single target because the seeds can only go to one enemy at a time. So when you're in all these AoE situations, it just doesn't feel as good. So even though Hyper Bloom doesn't do as much damage as newer characters, we were still keeping up in a situation that isn't meant for Hyper Bloom. Put some respect on Hyper Bloom's name. Boom, there it is. 36 star the Abyss. So how do I feel about Nahida in 2025? Am I happy that I built her? Yes, I am 100% happy with Nahida. Regardless if Nahida gets power cuts by Llama or not, doesn't really matter to me because I'm not going to be pulling for Llama. I have to stay strong and save all of my Primo Gems for Varka. And honestly, I think that Nahida is still a great unit for Dendro teams. Now, yes, I do remember a time where Xingqiu, Kuki Shinobu, and Nahida, just by themselves, just those 3 units, were a team. They were the entire team. You could just take those 3 characters into the Spiral Abyss and you would be good. And it isn't like that anymore, but Nahida is still a great unit. So if you already have Nahida, I don't think that pulling for Llama is necessary. But if you want to pull for Llama anyways because you like her character or her design or anything, then why not use the sponsor of today's video, Aniba? Wow, look at that right here, right now. Emerge. You could top up with Aniba and get 30% cash back. So if you decide to use Aniba, whatever package you decide to go with, 30% of that will go back into your Aniba wallet. Even if you're just a Blessing of the Welkin Moon player, boom, you can still get 30% cash back on it. With 6.0 now live in Genshin Impact, there are a lot of new characters coming. Varka is one of those characters. So if you were already planning on topping up, then go ahead and use my link in the description down below. Okay, but that is going to be all for today's video. If you watched the entire thing, thank you so much for watching. It really helps me out. Next video is probably going to be Auroron. A lot of people were asking me to build this character, and I really want to build him personally. So Auroron will probably be next, but until next time, just remember, you don't have to believe in yourself. Believe in me. Believe in the me that believes in you. And I'll see you in the next video.